The individuals accused in Foolio's case have now been convicted on the most serious charges, and even before the trial ended, Yungeen Ace's name continued coming up repeatedly in court. At some point, people started wondering why someone who was never officially charged kept getting connected to the whole situation so heavily. And the wild part is, somebody already went online a while back claiming they knew exactly how everything played out. A masked man jumped on the internet and straight up claimed Yungeen Ace offered $10,000 and told him to go after Foolio. He said, "Ace had done put that 10K up, told me to slide, told me to smack Fool." Now, during the Tampa courtroom proceedings, investigators reportedly brought up details that many people online believe match parts of that viral video. Yungeen Ace was known as Foolio's biggest rival, and that tension had been public for years. Everybody around that scene knew the issues between them were serious. The music showed it, social media showed it, and according to testimony and reports, authorities had reportedly been paying attention to the rivalry for a long time too. So stay locked in, because this story goes way deeper than most people realize. The shooting, the arrests, the courtroom testimony, what witnesses allegedly said, and why Yungeen Ace's name keeps surfacing anytime people discuss Foolio's passing. To really understand how Julio Foolio lost his life outside a Tampa hotel on his 26th birthday, you have to go all the way back to Jacksonville, Florida, a city that has gained attention for rap rivalries that sometimes turn into real-world violence. Foolio, born Charles Andrew Jones II on June 21, 1998, grew up in Jacksonville's Moncrief neighborhood, where tensions between groups had already been building for years. His father, Charles Jones Sr., lost his life in a 2011 shooting when Foolio was only 13 years old. So from a young age, he was growing up around trauma, loss, and non-stop pressure that could change anybody's mindset fast. He was later connected to a Jacksonville group known as 6 Block, which was tied to the larger KTA crew. People online have often claimed that KTA stood for a phrase reflecting just how intense tensions around those neighborhoods had become. That alone gives you an idea of the kind of environment Foolio was surrounded by. Around 2017, he started taking rap seriously, and his music quickly stood out because it felt raw and personal. He talked about survival, street struggles, losing people close to him, and constantly watching his back. Vulture described Quando Rondo's 2019 mixtape, Never Wanted Fame, as heavily focused on themes of loss, incarceration, family struggles, and growing paranoia in everyday life. For Foolio, that wasn't just entertainment or an image for music videos. People close to the scene believe he was speaking from real experiences. But he also became one of the most recognized faces connected to Jacksonville's ongoing street tensions. On the opposite side of that rivalry was Yungeen Ace, whose real name is Kayanta Bullet, and their issues would eventually become one of the most talked about conflicts tied to the city's rap scene. To understand how serious things became, you have to look at where many believe the conflict started. In 2017, Zion Malik Brown, the 18-year-old cousin of Foolio, tragically passed away inside a Jacksonville home. Many people point to that tragedy as the moment tensions between different groups escalated heavily. But Ace didn't just survive that incident. His brother and 2 close friends lost their lives that same night. Ace made it through, but the emotional damage from losing 3 people close to him all at once was massive. Situations like that can completely change someone's mindset. What made things even more intense was how public everything became afterwards. Foolio started posting controversial and disrespectful content online aimed at the people Ace had just lost, and it quickly caught attention across social media. He was openly mocking Ace during one of his darkest moments of his life. In street culture, people see that kind of disrespect as crossing a serious line. From there, tensions between both sides exploded even more. On one side, people connected Foolio to 6 Block and KTA, while Ace was linked to ATK and 1200. Over time, both groups experienced losses, grief and anger, and non-stop retaliation rumors that kept the conflict growing year after year. Then, in 2021, the situation reached a completely different level online and in the music industry. Yungeen Ace released a Who I Smoke diss track that referenced people connected to Foolio's side of the conflict. The song spread everywhere online and quickly went viral. Foolio answered back with When I See You, a response track that included clips from real news coverage connected to the tragedy involving Ace's brother. A lot of people called it one of the harshest rap exchanges the internet had seen in years. At that point, this was no longer just a Jacksonville issue that stayed local. People all across the country were paying attention. But behind the music and internet drama, authorities said there were real violent incidents continuing in the background. Detectives later testified in court that from 2018 through 2024, the rivalry was linked to multiple tragic incidents and ongoing tensions. Investigators already knew who the main figures connected to the rivalry were. According to testimony and reports, they viewed Foolio as one of the most recognizable names tied to one side of the conflict, while Yungeen Ace was seen as a major figure connected to the other side. Now, fast forward to June 23, 2024, Foolio's 26th birthday. He had traveled from Jacksonville to Tampa to celebrate and enjoy the weekend like anybody else turning 26 would do. But this is where the story takes a dark turn, because prosecutors later claimed the events leading up to his passing showed signs of serious planning. Starting on June 14, 2024, about 9 days earlier, Foolio had reportedly been posting flyers and updates on Instagram promoting his Tampa birthday celebration. In doing that, he was publicly sharing his location and plans with a huge audience online, including over 1 million followers who could see where he was expected to be. For most people, birthday posts are harmless fun. But according to prosecutors, because of Foolio's public history and ongoing rivalries, investigators believed certain individuals were paying extremely close attention to those updates. Authorities later alleged that once those flyers started circulating online, a coordinated plan may have already been forming behind the scenes. On the night of June 22nd, the evening before Foolio lost his life, 5 individuals reportedly traveled together from Jacksonville to Tampa. Prosecutors identified them as Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, cousins Rashad Murphy and Davion Murphy, along with Chance's girlfriend Alicia Andrews. According to court testimony, investigators claimed the group arrived armed and prepared to carry out a targeted attack. Authorities also alleged that once they reached Tampa, Alicia Andrews and Isaiah Chance were tasked with monitoring Foolio's movements while driving around in a silver Chevrolet Cruze. Prosecutors later argued this was part of a larger coordinated effort that investigators had been piecing together throughout the case. According to prosecutors, the group allegedly followed Foolio from location to location throughout the night, updating others about where he was in real time. Investigators later described the operation as highly organized, with different people allegedly playing specific roles to keep track of his movements. What makes the situation even sadder is how everything unfolded that night. Foolio's birthday gathering had reportedly started at an Airbnb, but police eventually shut it down because too many people had shown up. After that happened, Foolio went back on Instagram and posted updates telling followers the celebration was moving to another spot near the University of South Florida. Prosecutors later argued that those public updates made it easier for people tracking him to know exactly where he was heading. Authorities said the 5 suspects eventually followed him to a group of hotels located on McKinley Drive. Foolio was reportedly sitting in the passenger seat of a black Dodge Charger while trying to check in to the Home 2 suites when the attack happened. Investigators said 3 masked individuals suddenly opened fire in the parking lot. Surveillance footage reportedly showed the suspects already positioned nearby before the gunfire started. According to testimony, dozens of rounds were fired during the incident, and the Charger's windshield was heavily damaged. The medical examiner testified that Foolio suffered serious injuries and was later confirmed to have passed away at the scene. 3 other people who were with him were also injured but survived the incident. Authorities said the suspects escaped in a black Chevrolet Impala afterward. Investigators also testified that the firearms used in the attack had reportedly been modified in an effort to reduce evidence left behind at the scene. Foolio had lost his life before even making it past his 26th birthday, and only hours later, Yungeen Ace released a new diss track called Do It on the same day the incident happened. The timing instantly sparked huge reactions online, with social media going crazy as people debated whether it meant something deeper or was simply a coincidence. But things became even more shocking in the weeks that followed. Before authorities had entries in the case, someone else suddenly stepped into the spotlight online. Roughly 2 weeks after Foolio's passing, a viral video started spreading across the internet. In the clip, a masked man with his face hidden and voice only partially disguised began making explosive claims about what happened that night. While paraphrasing, the man claimed responsibility for what happened to Foolio during his birthday celebration. The video immediately grabbed attention because the speaker sounded confident and detailed, even though he never revealed his identity or officially spoke to investigators.
But he didn't stop there. He went on to claim there was money involved and started connecting the situation to Yungeen Ace and people associated with ATK. According to the video, he said, "There was money on his head. I rock with Ace and them boys, ATK. I be in Jacksonville heavy. If you know, you know." Then came the part that really set the internet off. The masked man claimed, "I handled that because Ace had that money on his head. Ace had them put that 10K up, told me to slide, told me to smack Foolio because he got tired of that running his mouth playing all the time." The video quickly exploded across social media because of the serious accusations being made. It's important to note that these were claims made by an unidentified person online, and no public court ruling confirmed those statements as facts. The masked man then added, "A lot of people feel that it was on some gang stuff. It ain't even really all that. Ace put that bread up, and whoever wanted to take it, took it, so I took that." What shocked viewers even more was how calm he sounded while making those claims. He showed absolutely no emotion or regret in the video, and that reaction alone made the clip spread even faster across social media. Now, legally speaking, that video was not proof of anything. An unidentified person online making accusations does not equal a conviction, and investigators would later focus on the people authorities officially connected to the case. Still, the video changed the conversation completely because from that moment on, Yungeen Ace's name became heavily tied to the situation in the public eye, and people started paying much closer attention to everything surrounding the investigation. When Yungeen Ace was eventually asked about the allegations, he addressed them during an Instagram live session and denied having any involvement. According to his comments, he did not support what happened. He also claimed that before Foolio's passing, the two had actually been communicating, and that he had even advised Foolio to stay away from dangerous situations and keep a lower profile. Ace described the situation as sad, but online reactions were mixed, and many people remained skeptical about the whole situation. As more details later surfaced during court proceedings, investigators reportedly continued examining all possible connections tied to the rivalry. Then came the arrests, and authorities moved fast once they believed they had enough evidence. On July 29, 2024, just over a month after Foolio's passing, the Tampa Police Department held a press conference announcing the first major break in the case. All 3 suspects were charged with the most serious offense under state law. Then, on July 30th, Rashad Murphy was also arrested. According to reports, officers located him at a hotel, and when law enforcement approached, he reportedly tried to run from the scene. Police used a taser during the pursuit, and authorities said the second deployment successfully stopped him so he could be taken into custody. After investigators searched through his phone and social media accounts, prosecutors claimed they discovered several posts they believed referenced or reacted to Foolio's passing in a celebratory way. One post reportedly featured Tom Brady and Bill Belichick celebrating after a Super Bowl win, while another simply read, "Hate me kindly." Those posts quickly became a major topic online because many people viewed them as unusually cold and disrespectful considering the circumstances.
The 5th suspect, Davion Murphy, reportedly avoided capture for more than 6 months. Authorities eventually arrested him on January 6, 2025, at an apartment complex on Jacksonville's west side. Prosecutors later announced they intended to pursue the highest possible penalties against him, similar to the other male defendants tied to the case. Investigators said the amount of evidence gathered during the case was massive. Authorities reportedly used license plate reader technology to track a silver Chevrolet Cruze and a black Chevrolet Impala traveling from Jacksonville to Tampa together in what prosecutors described as a coordinated convoy. Detectives also collected surveillance footage from multiple locations, including cameras near the University of South Florida, nearby hotels, and even Tesla dashcam recordings from surrounding vehicles. According to testimony, some of that footage allegedly showed the suspects driving around the area before the attack took place. Investigators further claimed that cell phone tower records placed the suspects near the scene around the time of the incident. Prosecutors also said ballistic evidence connected the ammunition used in the attack to other separate investigations, including a 2022 homicide case and a 2023 shooting incident involving Foolio that authorities alleged Sean Gaffright had previously been linked to. Investigators also reported finding firearms, ammunition, magazines, and tactical-style gear during a search warrant carried out at a property connected to some of the suspects. Authorities documented and collected everything as evidence as the case continued building momentum in court. Then there was the interrogation room footage involving Davion Murphy. After his arrest, surveillance cameras inside the interview area reportedly captured him making hand motions that prosecutors later argued appeared to imitate parts of the attack while he believed nobody was paying attention. That footage was eventually shown to the jury during court proceedings and quickly became one of the most talked about moments tied to the case. According to investigators, the suspects allegedly made several mistakes during and after the incident, and authorities familiar with Jacksonville's ongoing rivalries already had a strong understanding of where to focus their investigation. But this is where things became even more serious, because once the courtroom hearings officially began, one name reportedly kept coming up again and again, despite not appearing on the defendant list: Yungeen Ace. One of the first major court moments happened on January 16, 2025, during Davion Murphy's bond hearing in Hillsborough County. The hearing reportedly lasted around 5 hours. During that time, detectives from both Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and Tampa Police Department laid out their view of the long-running rivalry and tensions they believed ultimately led to Foolio's passing. According to testimony, investigators repeatedly referenced Yungeen Ace, whose real name is Keonta Bullitt, while discussing the background of the case. JSO Gang Unit Detectives Richard Nieder and Chris Drabeck, along with Tampa Police Detective Juan Ramos, testified that Ace was believed by investigators to be connected to ATK. Investigators testified that Foolio was viewed as one of the most high-profile figures connected to one side of the Jacksonville rivalry, while Yungeen Ace was seen as the equivalent figure tied to the opposing side. According to detectives, both men carried major influence through their music, online presence, and the people connected around them. Prosecutors described the situation as two powerful figures at the center of a long-running conflict that had gained attention far beyond Jacksonville. Detectives also testified that Davion Murphy was allegedly associated with a group known as 1200, which investigators claimed had ties to ATK. Based on that testimony, prosecutors argued that some of the people accused in the case were connected through a wider network of alliances linked to the ongoing rivalry. For Rashad Murphy, investigators said the situation appeared to be deeply personal as well. Detectives testified that his cousin, Gerard Adams, lost his life during an incident at a Rains High School football game in 2018. Authorities also stated that Foolio later referenced Adams in his music in a way that some people interpreted as disrespectful. According to testimony, Rashad Murphy told police he was upset about his cousin being mentioned in those songs.
Because of that, prosecutors argued the conflict was not only tied to broader street tensions, but also to personal emotions and past losses. The judge later denied bond for Murphy, purportedly citing concerns related to alleged gang associations and the seriousness of the case. Prosecutors also announced they intended to seek the harshest possible penalties against the defendants. But even after that, Yungeen Ace's name purportedly continued surfacing throughout court proceedings. During Alicia Andrews' trial in late 2025, Detective Richard Nieder testified and described Ace as what investigators believe to be a central figure connected to ATK. Nieder also told the court that authorities monitored Ace's social media activity, music videos, lyrics, and public appearances as part of efforts to track alliances and possible group activity connected to the rivalry. During testimony, he stated, "Based on the investigation, everybody seems to follow him." According to courtroom testimony, investigators were using Yungeen Ace as a major reference point while mapping out connections and relationships tied to the broader ATK network. His music, online activity, and public associations were purportedly being closely examined as part of the larger investigation. Because of that, prosecutors argued the conflict was not only tied to broader street tensions, but also to personal emotions and past losses. The judge later denied bond for Murphy, purportedly citing concerns related to alleged gang associations and the seriousness of the case. Prosecutors also announced they intended to seek the harshest possible penalties against the defendants. But even after that, Yungeen Ace's name purportedly continued surfacing throughout court proceedings. During Alicia Andrews' trial in late 2025, Detective Richard Nieder testified and described Ace as what investigators believe to be a central figure connected to ATK. Nieder also told the court that authorities monitored Ace's social media activity, music videos, lyrics, and public appearances as part of efforts to track alliances and possible group activity connected to the rivalry. During testimony, he stated, "Based on the investigation, everybody seems to follow him." According to courtroom testimony, investigators were using Yungeen Ace as a major reference point while mapping out connections and relationships tied to the broader ATK network. His music, online activity, and public associations were purportedly being closely examined as part of the larger investigation surrounding the Jacksonville rivalry. Then another major moment happened during Alicia Andrews' trial. A detective testified that Yungeen Ace allegedly sent a meme to one of the suspects around the time Foolio lost his life. That testimony was officially entered into court records and immediately sparked intense reactions online because of the timing connected to the message. Now, to be clear, that testimony did not result in any criminal charge against Ace, and no arrest was announced related to the meme itself. But prosecutors and investigators purportedly viewed it as a detail worth paying attention to while examining communications connected to the case. And once people online heard about it, the conversation around Ace's connection to the situation only grew louder. Then fast forward to April 22, 2026, when the main trial involving Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davion Murphy officially began in Tampa. Prosecutors announced they were pursuing the most serious penalties available, and right from opening arguments, the courtroom atmosphere reportedly became intense. On the very first day, prosecutors played Yungeen Ace's song "Game Over" for the jury, a track released only days after Foolio's passing. According to prosecutors, they believed parts of the lyrics reflected the ongoing rivalry and helped explain the motive investigators associated with the case. The song was reportedly used to outline the long-running tensions between groups linked to ATK, 1200, and 6 Block. The jury was shown surveillance footage, cell phone tower records, and multiple pieces of digital evidence gathered during the investigation. They also viewed interrogation room footage where prosecutors claimed Davion Murphy appeared to reenact parts of the incident while unaware cameras were still recording. Investigators further presented social media posts connected to Rashad Murphy that prosecutors argued reflected reactions to Foolio's passing. Throughout the case, prosecutors repeatedly referenced alleged ties to ATK, and Yungeen Ace's name continued surfacing as part of the broader rivalry investigators were describing. Then, on May 8, 2026, after roughly 8 hours of deliberation, the jury reached its verdict. Isaiah Chance was found guilty on the most serious charge in the case. Sean Gathright was found guilty on the most serious charge in the case. Rashad Murphy and Davion Murphy were both found guilty on the most serious charges in the case. The jury also returned guilty verdicts against all 4 defendants on conspiracy-related charges. Because the charges are considered capital-level offenses in Florida,
all 4 defendants are now facing either life sentences or the most severe penalties allowed under state law. The penalty phase of the trial reportedly began immediately after the verdicts were announced, making the courtroom atmosphere even more intense. As for Alicia Andrews, she was tried separately in late 2025 and was convicted of manslaughter based on prosecutors' claims that she acted as a lookout during the incident. She could face up to 15 years in prison. However, her sentencing has reportedly been delayed because of ongoing legal disputes involving claims that the judge assigned to her case may have shown bias. Those issues are still being handled through the court system. Let's break this part down carefully because the situation is a lot more complicated than many people online make it seem. Going back to April 15, 2024, about 2 months before Foolio's passing, Yungeen Ace was involved in a traffic stop in Jacksonville Beach that led to his arrest. According to reports, officers discovered 7 loaded firearms inside the rental vehicle he was riding in. Ace was then charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. At the time, there were reportedly 6 people inside the car. But only a few months later, on July 3, 2024, shortly after Foolio's passing, prosecutors dropped the charges against Yungeen Ace. Authorities stated they did not have enough evidence to directly connect the firearms specifically to him.
Investigators reportedly ran e-traces on the weapons but found no direct link tying them back to Ace. Authorities also collected DNA samples and attempted forensic testing on the firearms, but according to reports, there was not enough usable DNA evidence to complete the process. Police recovered Ace's phone as part of the investigation. The reports later stated investigators never requested a search warrant to examine its contents. Because of all that, prosecutors ultimately dismissed the case due to insufficient evidence. But even with the charges dropped, that didn't mean investigators stopped paying attention to him. Far from it. After Foolio's passing, reporters questioned TK Waters during a press conference about Yungeen Ace and concerns surrounding the ongoing rivalry. The sheriff responded carefully, but made it clear authorities were still closely monitoring groups connected to the situation. According to his statement, Yungeen Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them. Some people online interpreted those comments from the sheriff as a sign that authorities were keeping very close tabs on Yungeen Ace and the people connected to the ongoing Jacksonville rivalry. Then, as the courtroom proceedings surrounding Foolio's case intensified, especially during Alicia Andrews' trial in late 2025 and the larger trial in April 2026, detectives testified in open court that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office still had an active investigation examining possible connections tied to the case, including looking into Yungeen Ace's alleged involvement. According to testimony and reports, that investigation has never officially been closed. On top of that, the viral masked man video claimed Ace had allegedly offered money connected to the attack. A detective also testified that Ace supposedly sent a meme to one of the convicted defendants around the time Foolio lost his life. Prosecutors further referenced alleged ties involving ATK throughout the case, while one of Ace's diss tracks was even played in court as part of the prosecution's argument explaining the rivalry investigators believed motivated the incident. Authorities have also openly stated they continue monitoring groups associated with the Jacksonville conflict. But despite all the rumors and public speculation, the legal system works on evidence, not internet theories or assumptions. And that's the key difference here. Investigators may strongly suspect something, but proving criminal involvement beyond a reasonable doubt in a courtroom is an entirely different challenge. In a case involving the most serious criminal charges, prosecutors typically need extremely strong evidence before moving forward against anyone. If a case is rushed without enough proof and fails in court, it could seriously impact any future legal action tied to the investigation. Right now, many people believe authorities are being extremely cautious while continuing to examine every detail connected to the case. Prosecutors already secured convictions against the people directly accused of carrying out the attack, along with the alleged lookout. The bigger question now is whether investigators believe they can build a stronger case involving anyone else connected to the broader situation.
Foolio wasn't unaware of the risks surrounding him. By the time of his passing, he had already survived multiple violent incidents and openly talked about the pressure and danger he felt around him. In July 2023, he was reportedly injured during a shooting in Houston, Texas. Then in October 2023, less than a year before his passing, he was injured again in Jacksonville after gunfire struck his vehicle and hit his foot while he was driving. According to investigators, Sean Gathright, one of the men later convicted in connection to Foolio's passing, had also previously been linked to that October 2023 incident. Authorities later referenced those earlier events while outlining the timeline of tensions and retaliation connected to the larger Jacksonville rivalry. Then in April 2024, only 2 months before he lost his life, Foolio posted on Instagram talking about what he described as the tragic multiple attempts on my life. He openly acknowledged the danger surrounding him and made it clear he believed people were targeting him. After Foolio's passing, Yungeen Ace later claimed during an Instagram live session that he had spoken with Foolio beforehand and advised him to stay out of public situations and move more carefully. Whether that conversation actually happened has never been publicly confirmed, but what is clear is that Foolio continued sharing his movements online and remained highly active on social media despite the risks people believed surrounded him. When he posted those Tampa birthday flyers on June 14, 2024, just 9 days before his passing, prosecutors later argued that the public posts gave people tracking him a real-time look at where he planned to be. According to the prosecution, those social media updates played a major role in helping the suspects monitor his location and movements leading up to the attack.
That's one of the darkest parts of this entire situation. The same social media platforms Foolio used to grow his music career, connect with supporters, and build a fan base allegedly ended up helping others track him down. It turned something meant for entertainment and promotion into something investigators later described as a key part of the case. Foolio stayed active with his music career right up until the end. He continued releasing projects, building his audience, and growing a loyal fan base that went far beyond internet drama or rivalries. With more than 1 million followers on Instagram, a lot of supporters connected with him because of his music, his storytelling, and the raw experiences he shared through his songs. Throughout the legal process, one of the loudest voices speaking publicly has been his mother, Sandrique Mayes. After the 4 guilty verdicts were announced on May 8, 2026, she posted videos and photos online celebrating the outcome while holding bottles of Don Julio tequila, reclaiming an image prosecutors had previously argued was used online by one of the convicted defendants in a disrespectful reference tied to her son's passing. She captioned the post, "Justice for Foolio." For her, the verdict marked the end of a long and emotional legal battle filled with hearings, delays, court motions, and non-stop public attention. After nearly 2 years of investigations and courtroom proceedings, the people convicted of carrying out the attack were finally found guilty. But even with those convictions, many people still believe there are unanswered questions surrounding the bigger picture behind the case. The men prosecutors accused of carrying out the attack are now behind bars, and the woman authorities said helped monitor Foolio's location was also convicted. However, online discussions continue about whether investigators believe anyone else may have played a larger role behind the scenes. The anonymous masked man in the viral video claimed Yungeen Ace was connected. Detectives also testified in court about alleged ties between Ace and some of the convicted individuals. Prosecutors even played his music during the trial while discussing the rivalry investigators believe motivated the violence. Over time, Ace's name was repeatedly mentioned throughout the Tampa courtroom proceedings, despite him never being charged in the case. As of now, Yungeen Ace has not been criminally charged in connection to Foolio's passing. Authorities have not officially named him as a suspect in public court records related to the case. The firearms charges from 2024 were also dropped earlier due to insufficient evidence. Whether charges ever come against anyone else or not, the picture presented throughout the Tampa courtroom proceedings left a lot of people talking. Prosecutors argued that the individuals convicted in the case were connected to ATK, a group investigators testified was closely tied to Yungeen Ace.
Authorities repeatedly described Ace as a major figure connected to that network, and throughout the trial, his name continued surfacing in testimony, evidence presentations, and discussions about the long-running Jacksonville rivalry. People online have drawn their own conclusions ever since. Foolio's story was filled with loss, pressure, and non-stop conflict from a young age. He grew up without his father after losing him to violence, lived in one of Jacksonville's toughest neighborhoods, and experienced years of tragedy involving people close to him. Over time, those experiences became part of his music, helping him build a huge following and become one of the most recognized names in Florida rap. By the time he passed away, he was only 26 years old. He had over 1 million followers, new music still releasing, and a fan base that connected deeply with his raw storytelling. Despite surviving multiple violent incidents before, his life ultimately ended outside a Tampa hotel during what was supposed to be a birthday celebration. Now, 4 men convicted in the case are facing life sentences or other maximum penalties allowed under Florida law, while a 5th defendant was convicted on a lesser charge. At the same time, authorities have continued investigating whether anyone else may have played a larger role behind the scenes. For Foolio's family, some level of justice may have been delivered through the convictions, but many questions still remain unanswered about who may have planned or coordinated everything from the start. One thing that can't be denied is that this Jacksonville rivalry became one of the most talked about and heavily documented conflicts connected to modern hip-hop culture. What started in the streets eventually spilled into music, social media, and finally into a courtroom packed with investigators, witnesses, and national attention. We'll keep following this story as more updates come out. If you made it this far, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates on this case and other major stories. Rest in peace to Foolio.